Hello everyone, my name is James Prince and welcome to my channel. I'm a former college athlete, now starting the next chapter in the game that I love. If you love in-depth football analysis, especially when it comes to the trenches, then you're in the right place. Here, this series will be breaking down the offensive line play for every NFL team, helping you know the name, stats, and film that helped define a team's success or struggles up front last season. Whether it's scheme, technique, or roster moves, we'll take a deep dive into what each team can do to improve for 2025. Today, we're going to be focusing on the Green Bay Packers offensive line in 2024. If you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell icon to stay up to date with all future videos, and follow me on all my social medias, linked down below in the description, so you can stay up to date with everything that I'm doing. Now, here is the new crown jewel. After the 2023 season, the biggest news in the offseason for the Green Bay Packers offensive line was the decision for the Packers to release David Bakhtiari. Bakhtiari was the cornerstone for the Green Bay Packers offensive line, an excellent left tackle who helped protect Aaron Rodgers for so many years and then helping with the transition into the Jordan Love era in Green Bay. But after a couple years of battling injuries, the Packers had to make the really difficult decision to release him. Losing a player like Bakhtiari's caliber isn't just about filling a roster spot. It's about replacing a leader not only for the offensive line but for the entire team, a technician, and a stabilizing presence on that blind side. So how did the Green Bay Packers handle this transition? Who stepped up? And did the Packers truly find their answer at left tackle? Let's take a look to see how they adjusted in 2024. So the pickups that the Green Bay Packers made in the offseason was really more trying to reinforce this group. You had in free agency Andre Dillard from the Tennessee Titans. They signed him to a 1-year, $1.1 million contract back in April. During the 2024 season, he only appeared in 10 games, but was primarily just serving depth on the offensive line and on special teams. When looking at the draft for the Green Bay Packers, the Packers actually drafted 3 offensive linemen, the first being Jordan Morgan with the 25th overall pick out of the University of Arizona. Morgan signed a 4-year rookie contract with a team option for a 5th year. In his rookie season, he appeared in 6 games, starting 1 just before being placed on injured reserve for November 16th, 2024. Then in the 5th round, they drafted Jacob Monk out of Duke University. He played also in 10 games during the 2024 season, primarily contributing on special teams and as a backup interior lineman in that center guard rotation. And then finally in the 6th round, they drafted Travis Glover out of Georgia State University. He appeared in 7 games in the 2024 season, providing depth at that tackle position and contributing on special teams. So when looking at the 2024 lineup, the Packers were pretty consistent throughout the entire season. It wasn't until the end of the year when they went into the playoffs and injuries really started to hurt them that you saw different players come out into the rotation. But at left tackle, you had Rasheed Walker, left guard Elgton Jenkins, center Josh Myers, right guard Sean Rhyan, and then at right tackle Zach Tom. Rasheed Walker, being a former 7th round pick, has actually been the starting left tackle for the 2nd consecutive season since the injuries with David Bakhtiari. At left guard, you have one of the longer tenured players on this Packard offensive line, Elgton Jenkins. He is one of the more versatile players in the NFL, being able to play multiple positions on the offensive line. We will also be talking about him later in the video about what the Packers could potentially be doing with him in the 2025 season. At center, you had Josh Myers, who had been with the Packers since 2021 and had been the starting center since then. At right guard, you had Sean Rhyan, who secured the starting right guard position in 2024 after being drafted in the 3rd round in 2022. Then to finish out the offensive line at right tackle, you had Zach Tom, who also was drafted in the 2022 draft in the 4th round. Now that we know the Packers offensive line in 2024, we're going to take a look at 3 of their games that I think are really important to getting an overall evaluation of the team and where they could be heading for 2025. Up first is their Week 13 matchup against the Dolphins. Then we'll go look at the Week 15 matchup where they travel to Seattle to play the Seahawks. And then finally, Week 17 to finish in Minnesota against the Vikings. One of the reasons why I loved watching this Dolphins game was because the Packers were so good at displacing people. Not just one or two guys being dominant, but all five guys getting involved. And you can do that once the mental aspects of understanding the fronts and coverages are understood. The Packers line up with two running backs in the backfield, commonly known as a split formation. Jordan Love motions Josh Jacobs from his right side over to the left, but right as he gets behind him, they snap the ball. Chris Brooks, number 30, then runs a flat route with the Y, Tucker Kraft, coming in on what's known commonly as a sift block, kicking out the backside defensive end. This frees up the right guard and right tackle to destroy the 3-tech on a B block, working up to number 20, the backside backer, and a single block for the center and left guard on the nose to number 11, or the Mike. The left tackle is on a money block, working inside-out footwork, making sure that the defensive end doesn't stunt inside because he has no help. As the single block progresses, Jenkins and Myers feel the nose trying to go into the B gap, so they oblige him. Elgin gives a strong inside hand, and Myers gives just a little bit of a knock to force him with the leverage, allowing the center to climb up to the backer. Josh Jacobs does an excellent job reading both the right guard and the center's hips and hits the backside A, going untouched for about 7 yards. The Packers go back to this formation with a bit of a twist on it. As Jacobs goes out to his motion, you can see on the bottom of your screen at the bottom of the numbers, the tight end Tucker Kraft. A defense would see this with the running back swinging out to Kraft's side as a priority to cover the swing pass to the running back. So, Jordan Love makes a great read, seeing the Dolphins rotating their safeties and bumping their linebackers to cover that action. So he hands it off to Brooks now. Now, the Packers are just running outside zone to the right, allowing them to block 5 for 5, with the defensive end being taken out by Love's motion. The same principle on the backside like we saw in the last clip with a B block, but now this B is going more at a 45-degree angle than vertical on inside zone. Jenkins gives good help with his left arm, and Walker does a great job just taking the block over and gaining ground with his footwork once contact has been made. On the other side, because the nose is so tight to Josh Myers, Sean Rhyan can just check with his backside arm, but it immediately go up to the play side backer. And the right tackle, Tom, once again is money, but should stretch the defensive end, making sure that he does not go inside to keep outside zone principles intact. Now, once the linebackers see the offensive line's footwork and their hips open up, both backers shoot heavy into the play side gap. But because the blocks on the defensive line are so good, especially on the backside, Brooks can just press this B block and, using his strength and agility, break off the first tackle by the defensive end for a huge gain. This first clip really demonstrated the attitude, aggressiveness, and technique that resulted in so much success for the Packers offensive line that they had throughout the season. Here we have inside zone to the right, with a play side tight end help blocking with the offensive line. This is known as a big attachment, meaning that the left tackle can stay blocking the backside defensive end instead of working a combo or climbing up to the backer. With the left tackle now blocking the defensive end, you now can have what's known as an A block with the left guard and center working to number 13, who is the new ID. With a big attachment, the center or quarterback's Mike ID call is pushed back one linebacker. So in a two-backer box, normally number 18 would be the Mike without the tight end, but since the tight end is in this block, you point it one back. This helps the right guard and right tackle have a double block working up to 18 on their combination. With a big attachment, it allows both combinations to be extremely vertical and the running back to really press the point and get as much yards as he can. Very next play, the Packers decide that they are going to absolutely control this game and run the ball again. This time with the tight end attached backside, this gives your normal mic point and your left guard, left tackle combinations, right guard and center combinations, and right tackle once again money. All of this allowed them throughout this game to beat down whenever the Seahawks went into a 6-man box. When the Packers get their combinations going, their size, strength, and bend all make them one of the more impressive offensive lines in this league. In this situation, you have a full man slide, in which everybody's main priority is the gap to their left. Another thing to note is that because the right tackle doesn't have any defensive player in his inside gap, or the B gap, he needs to stick on the defensive end so that way the tight end can go out into his route. You will see the offensive line slide to the left, with Jordan Love receiving the ball at the left hash and then rolling out and getting settled and then eventually having to scramble, but his initial landing point should be on that right hash. Both the tight end and the running back will be checking to see if there's any extra blitzers. If not, then they can leak out for any safety valves for Jordan Love to dump off to. Before the play though, Jordan makes a great observation with the help of the left tackle and seeing that there is a corner blitz due to this corner's demeanor and presence looking like he is going to blitz. The Packers do an excellent job seeing through all the smoke and mirrors of the Seahawks, which allows Jordan Love to set up and give a throw, which causes a pass interference play, advancing the ball downfield. This game from Week 17 at first glance may look like it was a close game. However, I think the fans of the Packers will agree with me that Green Bay did not live up to the standards that they all expect them to be. Heading into the fourth quarter down 27-10, the offensive line was rattled, but had glimpses of success, especially in the run game. However, Jordan Love was sacked 3 times throughout the game, pressured 10, and the offense alone committed 3 penalties that either negated a touchdown or a first down. This clip was an example of where the Packers had success in the run game. You have Vikings in a 6-man box, and the Packers were able to just run inside zone, allowing the offensive line to get on their combos and Josh Jacobs to hit the hole and make the right read. This clip, I just want you to focus on not the entire line, but instead Rasheed Walker, the left tackle, on the top of the screen. Now, I think Rasheed has done an excellent job throughout the season. However, this new NFC North, where the Vikings and Lions now have had the level of success that Green Bay has had and is used to, these fans, especially in these dome stadiums, are going to be loud. So it is critical, especially at left tackle, that you time your set and get off the ball correctly. Whether it's the Packers using a clap or a verbal cadence, or it's the center snapping as soon as he sees the leg hitch, all 5 offensive linemen have to know the count and be synchronized in their get-off. As Myers snaps the ball, everyone is out of their stance, including the defense, except Walker, who is still trying to turn his head to face the defense after watching Myers lift his head up to snap. This lets Jonathan Grenard, an excellent pass rusher, get an even bigger advantage on Walker by being laid off the ball, which almost turned into an Harrison Smith interception but was ruled incomplete. This clip of the Packers running outside zone with 2 tight ends blocking on the play side. So this means that the backside left guard and left tackle are money on their defender, and the center and right guard are working a single block back to number 51. However, this combo between the 2 offensive linemen does not work and fails because 1, Myers' first step with his right foot goes too far behind his body, and 2, when Sean Rhyan doesn't keep his shoulders square and tries to come off the linebacker too quickly before Myers can get into position to block the nose then splits the double team, only for Josh Jacobs to get a couple yards in what should have been a longer gain as we have seen in the previous clips before. Well, now that we've watched the film, let's take a look at what the Packers could be doing for 2025. First, as of this recording, it looks like Josh Myers and Andre Dillard are not going to be re-signed by the Green Bay Packers. In terms of free agency additions, the Green Bay Packers were one of the first teams to make a big move on the offensive line, signing Aaron Banks from the 49ers. Banks signed a 4-year, $77 million deal and was one of the better pass protection guards over the past few years. His run blocking is going to be something that he's going to need to improve upon, which I think he will learn and improve upon going to Green Bay. One of the other things that is a drawback of him is that he's had to deal with a multitude of injuries, even being placed on IR last season. With the signing of Aaron Banks, I think the Packers will wait till the later rounds to bolster up the offensive line. I would look to the 5th round where I could see 2 players that can maybe fit into their scheme. The first being Seth McLaughlin from Ohio State. Seth is a center who transferred from Alabama in 2024 to Ohio State, who was playing excellent during the 2024 season, and then unfortunately, right before that 11th, 10th game, I think it was right before the Michigan game, he tore his Achilles, ending the season in November. This may be a type of deal where he may not be able to participate in OTAs and some of the summer obligations, but could help bolster this O-line later down on the road and later possibly deeper in the season. The second player is Jack Nelson, offensive tackle from Wisconsin. Jack is a 6'7", 315-pound left tackle who, when watching the film, had really good footwork, especially in the run game and the use of his hands in pass protection. Some of the few downsides with him was just the fact that because he's so tall, he was often caught leaning and overextending multiple times to try to get an advantage on fully locking out, and especially in pass protection, which then exposed him to a lot of push-pull rips in pass protection. I think these 2 players, especially in the draft, along with Aaron Banks, will make great additions to the Packers, especially with the fact that Rashad Walker, Sean Rhyan, and Tom are all entering contract years. Now when it comes to the lineup in 2025, I think a lot of people are predicting that Aaron Banks will stay at his left guard spot, and then you'll have Elgin Jenkins, who played center in college and then also has played center for the Packers in previous seasons and in a couple games. He'll move to center, with the rest of the group, Rasheed Walker, Sean Rhyan, and Zach Tom, stay in their positions. It'll be interesting to see how Jordan Morgan does during camp, if he can break through this lineup, whether that's at guard in replace for Sean Rhyan, or maybe even at one of the tackle spots. When looking at the 2025 season, I think this is a group, despite having so much success last year, I think that they're only going to get better with the addition of Aaron Banks and Jenkins moving to center. Packers need this strong offensive line, especially with how the NFC North is shaping out with the Lions, the Vikings, and now the Bears looking to continuously improve in all aspects, especially on defense. I think this NFC North next season is going to be an absolute bloodbath, and don't be surprised if you see 3 teams make the playoffs next year. That's just how good this division is shaping up to be for 2025. If you're a Packers fan, comment down below, what did I get right, what did I get wrong? And if you're a fan of another team, comment down below what team you want me to do next and break down for next year. Be sure to follow all of my social medias down in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay up to date with all future videos. I'm James Prince, and I'll see you guys later.